Hey, groupers, Pastor Marshall. Third week in this series called Followers. It's what we all want to be. We want to be better followers of Jesus. We want to put him first. We want to get behind him. And we want to see so many more people. We want to see the whole world become followers. And so that's also what we're talking about. Just to get the ball rolling, to break the ice, get your vocal cords warmed up. What is your longest close current relationship that isn't with your parents or your siblings? Just share with your group. It might be your spouse, it might be a close friend. What is your longest current close relationship that isn't your parents or your siblings? And how has that relationship changed you over the years? For the better? And how has it changed you for the worse? And finally, just as also important in this conversation, when was the last time you told that person that you loved them? If you're in this long-term relationship, when was the last time you told them that you loved them? Well, let's remember what we've talked about so far. Can you name the 3 expectations that Jesus gave when he called Peter, James, and John there on the shore? What were his 3 expectations for us being in a relationship with him? Do you remember those 3 from the first week? And then last week, where did you rate yourself? I challenge you to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 5 in your fellowship, in your relationship with Jesus. And then I taught you the 5 stages of our relationship with Jesus. As a group, can you name those 5 stages off the top of your head without that chart, without that wheel in front of you? Do you remember what those 5 stages were? And then when you name those 5 stages, put some words underneath them that you would use to describe what it means to be in stage 1. What's the best word that goes underneath that? And what does it mean to be in stage 2? What does that look like? And just name those stages. And where do you think that you are right now? You self-scored 0 to 5. Where do you think you are right now? What stage do you think that you are in your relationship, in your fellowship with Jesus? Well, Deuteronomy 6 is the Shema. Who is speaking Deuteronomy 6? What is the occasion of Deuteronomy 6? Who is the audience? And why is this history so important? What are the key elements of the Shema? Look at verses 4 through 9 and just make a list of what are the key elements that are given in these verses. And don't just put one word down in your list. Describe these elements. Flesh them out as a small group. One of the things that we're commanded to do in the Shema is to teach our children. Why is it so important to teach God's commandments to future generations? Why do we do this passing on the baton? And why do you think in the Shema it's to our children and our children's children? Why do you think that a close relationship is so important for teaching these deep spiritual truths? What is it about these close relationships that is essential to teaching deep spiritual truths? And if the relationship's not close, what are the obstacles in teaching these deep spiritual truths? Think for a second about when you fell in love with God. Not when was that, but what teaching style, what relationship worked that you made that next big step? What close relationship was it that existed that helped you make that next big step in your relationship with God? And then what was the teaching style? Was it one-on-one? Were you in a small group? Was it a family member? Was it from the pulpit? What was the relationship and what was the teaching style that helped you to fall in love, to give your life to Jesus? And what do you think you need to do right now to help you advance a stage? In this message that you have heard before this small group, I talked about sometimes it's teaching. We need to understand God's word better. We need to be taught. Sometimes it's coaching. We need someone to come alongside of us and to evaluate our lives and to give us coaching, to give us help, aids to move our lives. It's not head knowledge, that's teaching, it's heart knowledge. We need to be coached. Sometimes it's honesty. We need to just be honest. We need someone to be honest with us about where we are. And sometimes it's accountability. We need someone to hold us accountable. What of those 4 things do you think that you need the most right now to to move up a stage. Share that with your small group. And that's our application. What's it going to take for us to get to the next stage? Well, hope that you have a great Bible study. Look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.